per second, the speed of light through a vacuum discovered by Albert Einstein, in which he has a theory of relativity. Okay, the theory of space and time in the universe. Okay, and you will ask me later on what is specific formula. It's gonna be E is equals to mc squared. Well, E is the energy of the motion of the different heavenly bodies, and then we have the m is the mass of the heavenly bodies or any objects in the universe. C will be the specific velocity or the speed of light. E is equals to mc squared. Okay, this is a theory of space and time. After Big Bang Theory, 18.3 billion years ago, before the planets evolved, there are Big Bang Theory, like a bumping of different heavenly bodies. And after that, then there will be planets produced. Things like that. And that is scientific wisdom. And it's not really related to the religious wisdom. Okay, things like that. Because we cannot question the biblical wisdom as opposed by the scientific wisdom. Okay, or the scientific study, things like that. You get the point? So our point of argumentation will never stop. If you say, God Almighty created the universe, things like that. And then, where is He living? Things like that. Who created the Almighty God? Then you cannot answer already. By that alone, we don't have right to dig up because there's no answer after asking that. It will stop. For example, who made the earth, the planets? It's Almighty God. Okay, who made Almighty God? Right? So it can never be answered, even though how brilliant you are. Okay, even though how genius you are, it can never be answered. Okay, and after answering also, again ask again. You get the point. So it will never stop. The point of argumentation. It will never meet. It will never agree in the same consensus. You get the point, things like, okay. Now going back to our topic for today, our second topic for today is going to be speaking test. I love it. Okay. So there are three parts of speaking test. The part one will be the asking of the personal questions. For example, talking about your study, talking about your work, talking about your income, talking about your girlfriend, talking about your boyfriend, talking about your habits, your inclinations, if you really watch movies, if you really watch sports, if you know how to play sports or whatever, things like that. It's gonna be the personal details. Like everyday context, everyday social context through different engagements with people around you and also in the public as well. This is going to be the part one. And now we go to the part two. The part two will be there are certain topics that to be asked by the examiner and a whole range or a variety of topics that she or he will be able to present it to you. Things like that. It talks about entertainment, music, sports, health, science. It could be in the business. It could be in the engineering. It could be in the technology. It could be in the rocket science. It could be in the environmental science. It could be in the planet Earth. It could be related to astrology. Could it be related to the astronomy? It could be related to the computer. Could it be related also to the gadgets or whatever, or name it. So whatever they will try to ask you in the actual test, in the speaking test. So after that, they choose the specific areas that I will be able to ask to you. Then that will be also the same specific topics that will be able to ask to you in the third part. But before going to the third part, it's gonna be like a monologue in the second part. Monologue. So let's say if you choose entertainment, talk about entertainment for at least 5 minutes to 7 minutes. Then what they are trying to measure is your fluency, coherence, cohesion, vocabulary, grammar accuracy, and pronunciation. Now, if you are not sure with your words, do not use it. Go to the basic English because there are words are difficult to pronounce. You get the point? For example, subtle. The boy is so subtle, meaning brilliant. subtle. Subtle, silent B. Right? So don't use the words that are, oh my gosh, So be careful with your pronunciation. You get the point? Think or your diction. Okay, because even though how good you are, they will also check that because there's a criterion for that. Criterion is a singular form of criteria in English. Okay, there will be a basis for that. You get the point? So be careful. You get the point? So if you are really confident, because you are mastering the advanced vocabulary, profound vocabulary, then you also do that. If you have greater self-confidence, okay, get the point? Things like, and you are believing yourself that you can make it. Things like, but avoid stoppage. Okay, avoid stoppage and also the twirling of your tongue. Like that. Okay, like that. Okay, because every stoppage there will be a deduction from the points. Okay, it's very difficult already because that's on the spot and you don't know what really the questions are. Okay, that's why if you are really a skilled, good communicator, then you have a good communication skills and good command in English, then you can answer in a smooth way. Okay, since this type of ability cannot be taken by just only 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, it should be from your starting point when you are still a child, going to your high school and college, supposedly. Because this is just like also being a welder, being a fabricator. They had been practicing that for a long time. That's why they are skilled in doing that job. The same thing also if being a fluent speaker, things like that. Okay, but it matters also to the audience. Sometimes you have to adjust. If the people are not really good in English, sometimes you just have to show to them. You get a point, things like that. I'm showing to my interactive video, but I'm not also showing this completely to my colleagues, to other people. You get the point? I preserve that to myself, my talents. You get the point? But when I do the trainings, because I don't have also the long training here. Our training here is just only a talk box talks, very easy. You get the point? It's very, superficial and shallow. Because when I did my trainings in, National Oil Company in Abu Dhabi, because we are the main contractor there, it's lengthy. It talks, 1 hour, 2 hours is not enough. It should be one day. Okay? From the morning until the afternoon, you have to present your training effectively. And there will be an assessment of the test, then you will give to them like that. But here, it's not applicable. It's not standard. That's why I'm adjusting my communication skills to what only level we have now. You get the point? Things like that. But if the audience also are very clever in English language, that's the time also my fluency will be delivered. You get the point? So we need to say it depends on the target audience. You get the point? Things like that. Okay, so before going further, so since this is a speaking test, you need to use the connectors or clauses, coordinating clauses. You get the point? So from now on, if you need to study English language and then you have a plan to go to Switzerland, Australia, like that, or Europe, like that, there's an English examination, then you need to study the different connectors because speaking will be calibrated in actual. Because you have to talk with those people. You get the point? And then you don't have the same language. They're talking with their own language in which you can't understand. So the only way to understand each other is to talk by using the international English language. That's why you will be tested according to the universal, global, and the international English language. You get the point? So that's why for professionals, it should be like that. For the skilled workers, it's not necessarily, but sometimes they will ask in the immigration of the basic English, but personal only, not academics, not technicals, not related to the profession, because they will adjust also to the type of job categories you have. You get the point? But then, most of the skilled workers, I heard they will apply for the permanent residency there. That's the time they will be taking the English international examination because it's really a requirement for the PR. Okay? Like that. Especially if you want to become a citizen of that particular country, then you will be able to take the English examination. You get the point. But if you're only contented for the contract of agreement in which your company is handling with you, for example, you'll be going to the New Zealand and there are 50, let's say, Indians and 50 Filipinos living in the same accommodation. You get the point. So that setup is agreement. After 2 years, 3 years, all of you will be going back to your country of origin. Now, if you try to apply for the permanent residency, and that's the time you will take English examination, regardless if you are a welder, fabricator, teacher, or whatever. You get the point? Since we heard a lot going there in New Zealand, so there's no English examination for that. Okay, they are waiving the international English examination. That's why you will be wondering, oh, why we can easily go there? Because there's no requirement of English language examination compared to the professionals that, very rigid, okay, examination. Okay, things like that, speaking test, writing test, like that, listening test, like that. Okay, so this will be the attraction of, hiring in different countries. As you can see in your Facebook, okay, things like that for, let's say, an apple picker, okay, and housekeeper going to, let us say, Ireland, things like that. So there's no need of IELTS. You get the point? Because it's the set up by their company to waive those requirements of IELTS because the government needs to finish the projects within that particular European country. But you can never stay beyond 5 years there unless your company renew also the contract between the government of their government also. But it's not continuous because it's not PR, it's not permanent residency. You get the point? So what's the difference between permanent residency and contractual employment? Contractual employment will not receive the same benefits as their own citizens. Then if you are passing the qualifications and criteria of a permanent residency employees there in Europe, for example, then you can also gain the same benefits with their citizens. You can have also your free medicines of your son, your daughters. You can educate your son also free, daughters free, the same as their people. Okay. That's why also others are migrated to there, even though their salary are not too high because of that benefits only. For example, your salary in the Middle East is 300,000 pesos every month, and then you receive only 200,000 pesos in, for example, in Malta. Malta? One of the European countries, right? Then in Malta kasi, for example, you are, let's say, teacher. So meaning to say, you are professional. Okay, so you need to take the English international examination. So, of course, you look for a greener pasture, then you have to take the English examination. If you don't pass the English examination, so it's very difficult for you to land for a PR, permanent residency with valid work permit. Things like that. You get the point? Okay. So, but before anything else, it's very difficult for the professionals, to tell you honestly. But for the college level, high school graduate, it's easy for them, especially for the skill, because they are not required for the English language, examination because they don't aim for the PR, permanent residency, work permit visa. It's okay for them only for the agreement for the company. 2 years, 3 years, and renew like that. And then, as far as I know, there will be no renew for projects. Okay, because the projects will be finished unless it is a manufacturing company, okay, or a power plant company that is always operating for so many years. If projects or construction, it will be finished, right? So by the time also they will go back to their country unless, as I told you, unless they will apply for another job there and file for permanent residency. You get the point? Things because I listened from one of my kababayans in Dubai. She has a very good offer. Okay, things like that. She has everything. Car, like that, blah, 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 and 6-digit salary, like that, like that. Okay? And then her salary in one of the European countries, for example, in Dubai, it's more. A little bit of, let's say, 40,000 to 50,000. But there's no equal opportunity in the Middle East. If you can notice that one. their citizens are enjoying the benefits, but the foreigners are not enjoying the benefits. What I mean, the medicines, like that, the scholarship of the daughter and the sons. Though there's also a little bit of discounts, but not full. You get the point? Things like that. So she migrated there just because of that reason. Okay, because the salary are close plus the tax, things like that, and then she deducted also the tax, and then still the Dubai will be higher, but she preferred to migrate in European countries because of the benefits, long-term benefits. Okay, now she will never apply again because she is now going to 60 years old. You get the point, things like that. Because if you are only contract, then you need to reapply, renew, like that, blah, blah, blah. PR kasi, permanent residency. Okay, get the point? So if you really wish to do that in the future, then study a lot. Okay, listening, reading, speaking, and writing. That's why you can never see a lot of people also going there, because in this area, it's already huge. You get the point? So, for example, you are from Bangladesh, you are from the Philippines. The examination is not like this. When you apply for a job, for example, this is, to be honest, to be true to ourselves. If you apply for San Miguel Corporation, the exam is like this. No, it's not. Okay, you get the point? So, because there's speaking, there's writing, there's reading, there's listening. Of course, there's reading and only speaking, right? But there's speaking meaning in the interview. But the questions in the interview are personal or related to the job. But here in the English examination, it's more on the academic, on the English language. So if you will pass to this, then you are really uh, have the gift from God, things like that. That's why I understand pala. That's why not all have given a chance to be there. You get the point? Aside from the preparation of your money, like that, you have to have a money at least 300,000 pesos. Okay? For express visa, you need at least 1 million or 1M. Express visa meaning you need to be scored according to the, for example, credential, 20%, relative, 30%, like that, education, 15%. If your total score will reach 80%, then you will qualify. After that, you will advise to take the International English Examination. Okay. For others kasi, it's not like that. Especially the work permit permanent residency program. That's why the preparation of money is not big. You get the point? It's less than 500,000 only. You get the point? So, and they will never accept also standby. You know standby? Candidates that are not working. Oh, candidates that are not working 6 months. They will never apply. First of all, you are standby for beyond 6 months in your country of origin. They will not accept this kind of, of immigration or migration to Europe. At least you have a job. Or you start for a job within 6 months. You get the point? Ganon. But for the express category, no need. As long as you have the money, you pass the percent, 80% of the person, and also you have relative there, and all you have to do is to pass the international examination, English international examination in Kalas. You can go there. You get the point? Because after landing there, you can find a job. Okay, but this category is not the same because you have an employer before you go there. Things like that. You get the point? You have the work permit visa, and then your employer will handle the PR requirement for you, things like that. But be sure you need to pass first the international English language examination. You get the point? So this is the real issue here. Actually, it's not money because we can find the money. It's on the examination. And then if talking also the interview with the employer, it's very easy to manage because that's only based on your experience for 20 years. You cannot answer the questions of the interview from the employer. It's impossible. Okay, you get the point? Things like that. Ganon siya. Okay, so if you dream big, then go ahead. Wow! You get the point. Okay, so let's go back for this. So part 3, going back to the part 3, will be the asking of questions related to the chosen topics that you answered in part two, which is a kind of monologue, then the examiner will also ask question and you will answer. So this is one-on-one discussion. You get the point? One-on-one. Take note the term discussion. It's not the same with personal details because the personal details as give me your complete name like that. My name is Engineer Sotero of Nepomuceno Jr. Okay. What is your what do you do in the living? I have been working as a chemical engineer presently like that. All you have to do for the purpose of discussion only. Okay, like that. Blah, blah, blah. So describe your place like that. Only very easy to answer. They are measuring only your vocabulary, your grammar accuracy, your fluency, your reasoning, things like that. Because they can really see that the way how you answer, the way how you phrased your answers correctly. You get the point? So it's natural. And they can even sense if you memorize. You got the point? So because there's a deduction also if completely pattern to the modules like that, then it should you don't have a grade high for scores for that. You don't have a high grade for that. Okay, because they're also in the YouTube that completely the same, and you will just memorize. For example, describe your accommodation. There's a standard answer for that, and you will memorize the same, right? For those who will be afraid, blah blah blah, so on. So you should understand only the content, and then you can make your own words. Okay, how to do that? For example, describe your accommodation. Well, my accommodation is very spacious. I can do anything. I can sing. I can dance, and can also sometimes do exercise. And most of the times also, I can research in my laptop because I have a very beautiful living room. And aside from that, also my toilet is very near from my living room, and it's very easy for me, and I'm very very comfortable. And sometimes also I can open the glass window and look to the beauty of the nature that the Lord God gave to us, and it really escalate my feelings of happiness, because to live life to the fullest, and it is the most wonderful thing that every individual must cherish in this contemporary world. And I thank you. Things like that. Okay, so imagine how fast I am talking for that particular accommodation. Okay. Then you can also make slow if you are that really, because to talk very fast is not also good. Okay, you got the point. But this is my gene, Gene. That's why I cannot control. You got the point, things like, because if I don't make it a little bit faster, my ideas will be vanishing from my brain cells. You got the point. That's why I need to have a connected speech. Connected. After this, after this, after this, after this, after this, after this, things like that. Okay? Like that. You get the point? So that's only an example. Sometimes we will ask also, do you love sport? And you say, yes. Explain what things made you enjoy the most for that particular sport. Answer ka. Ganon. Okay, you get the point, things like that. Pabor kay mga baunan na guys, with sense of command in English, good command in English. But if you feel you are not really that good in English, study a lot and go first with speaking. Because speaking has a very big points. You get the point? It is the finale of the exam, in which you will be in the closed room, things like that, and there's a girl or a boy, but girl in my part. Okay, she will ask you tremendously. Things like tremendously meaning too much with intense questioning. Things like that. You get the point, and you should be passionate also in your answers. Meaning you will never stop, even though sometimes you found difficulty, because that's on the spot, right? For example, it's very difficult sometimes on the spot. Then you can think of our main idea and then extend that further. And then if you feel also it will go out from the main idea, then connect it by having a style. Well, you get the point. You know what I mean, right? So, for example, if you are touching a little bit with another topic because you don't have a connected speech, still talk, and go back again. There's no question about that, because it's the fluency have a very high points there. Though you'll be directed a little bit with the coherence, but you supported it. You get the point? Like that. Well, it is really related, because if you eat too much carbohydrates, then bottom, your fat content also in your body will be increased. So there's really a complementary relationship with the fat and the carbohydrates, because somewhere along the way in the chemical synthesis, in a biochemical reaction inside our body, the carbohydrates also will be catalyzed into fat later on. That's why the cholesterol comes from carbohydrates in the first place, scientifically and biologically. It's like, you get the point. So it's very advantageous, advantageous because I use this as an adjective. It's very advantageous if you have a very wide knowledge on the specific topic. But there are also topics that you are not really that good, right? You get the point. So think of a simple things that you can relate, things like that, and then you can go directly to what it tried to point out. Okay, for example, asking what are the recent development projects in your area? Oh my gosh, very very first time. Okay, you got the point. So I was really happy, guys, okay, because I answered very well. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, now let's go to the question. Okay, then it could help also, guys, when you keep on talking when you're alone. A vlogger is an advantage. A vlogger like me is an advantage because you are practicing your English communication skills. But if you're talking also in Tagalog and Bisaya, it cannot help. But what it helps are your confidence, self-esteem, and then you can remove your, fright. Fright, stage of fright, or facing the people fear. Okay, because sometimes you'll be afraid, things like that. So because since you are doing the vlogging like that, but it's not the same because the one who will ask you is a live person. You get the point, face to face. It's not like this that I'm alone. You get the point, and my audience is in the virtual platform or interactive virtual platform online. But there, it's an actual, really, you need to face asking questions verbatimly and spontaneously, things like that. You get the point? Oh my gosh. Okay. Ako siya dimension si Kuan, guys, si President Duterte. She smiled like that. I love my answers. I hope I could get perfect score for that. Okay, things like that. Okay, let's go back to our questions here. Okay, question number 1. Or the part 1, by the way, sorry. Okay, part 1. So our questions goes like this. Okay, I may read it. Okay. Instruction. This part of the test begins with the examiner introducing himself or herself and checking the candidate's identification. It then continues as an interview. Okay. Examiner. Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some more questions about yourself. Okay? You answer, yes, definitely. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about your home, town, or village. What kind of place is that? Okay. Answer. Our village is very beautiful and wonderful because the people are very accommodating, very kind, and we have also beautiful sceneries like a tourist spots, especially the beach resort, the mountainous hills, very overlooking, and you can see really the beauty of the cities down below. And then apart from that, also our people also are very hardworking as their source of their bread and butter. For example, catching fish like that, doing businesses like shells craft and furniture like a rattan factory related job, things like that. It's so very enjoyable, though our place is not very big, but we have unity with each other to really achieve a common objective to prosper in terms of our economy, in our revenue, to help also establish and escalating the economy of our country in a nationwide perspective. Ganon. So, answer na ako, examiner. Inana sa ko answer ito sa actual, guys. Okay, examiner, what's the most interesting part of this place and village? In my own point of view, because I'm a bona fide resident of this village, what makes it attractive is really our tourist spots because it's very world class. Specifically, the beach resort, we have a white sand and then you can expose yourself to the heat of the sun, especially early in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. Then you will rejuvenate yourself, and then very relaxing and refreshing. And aside from that also, there are a lot of boats also nearby the seashore, and it's so enjoyable. You can forget your problems there, and then it looks like it's very marvelous and magnificent. And in that way, you can live life to the fullest to make things all in the world wonderful, as precious as it is. Like that. Okay, that's the answer. Okay, on the top of a hill, answer man ako, hill man yung diri, akong diyan sa tourist spot man siya. Okay, so examiner, what kind of jobs do people in the village do? Things like that. But the way I answer it was not exaggerated, ha? But when you answer that there also, because that's timer, there's a timer. Timer. The girl will bring the watch, the timer. It's very pressured because when you see it's all are time framed, and you are not used to that. Even though in my entire life, in a certain examination, I've been taking the board examination, but it's not oral examination. I'm defending a thesis in my feasibility study in chemical engineering, in which I have a very good grade of 4.7 in CIT in my thesis or feasibility study. So there's no such timer that there's a time clock really in the table, and after she will push and then you will stop. Things like that's why you need to adjust the brevity. You go to the main point directly. But it's very difficult, right? Because you are answering that on the spot. But just trust yourself. You can make it. I can make it. You can also make it. Okay, you get the point? Things like that. Okay. So really, I love it. Okay, things. What kind of jobs do people in the village do? Our people are just doing the very basic, normal way of earning an income, because we are really living in a informal settler or a squatter area. Our village is just very small. Our people love to work very hard in catching fish. Mostly are fishermen, and others also are accountants, but there are only few professionals in our place. And then some also are harvesting their fruits, are farmers. Then that would be all. Kalash. Okay, because as they say, what kind of jobs? So kind of jobs. Even though you mention only one, it would be okay. Whether you expound or not. See, what kind of jobs do people? It doesn't say describe like that, but I only add so that it will have an attraction. Because if you answer things like this, it's very unattractive. You say, what kind of job do people live? Fish, catching fish, accountant, teaching, class. So it looks like there's no beauty in how you answer. So the next question, how the people have the interest or the willingness or the enthusiasm and the passion of doing that kind of job for as their bread and butter or for their living. Okay, you get the point? Things like that. Or for their financial survival. Things like that. You get the point? Okay. Next question. Okay. What you say it's a good place to live? Would you say it's a good place to live? You say yes, definitely, because all the activities within our place are very lucrative, and it really taught us to be prolific, inventive, innovative, and we always look at the brighter side of our future, and then we can easily financially survive in the future because we are united with each other, achieving a common goal to improve the state of the economy of our specific place. Things like that, right? So you're gonna answer that straight. Okay, you get the point. So next question. Let's move on to talk about accommodation. Accommodation example, it's very easy. No need, right? Because I always talk about accommodation. But for the purpose of discussion, for example, say, let's move on to about accommodation. Tell me about the kind of accommodation you need. So actually, this kind of question came out. Since I don't expect this question, okay, I'll just practice because there's a lot of questions in the YouTube like that. Every time I walk from the plant going to the room every Thursday night, Saturday and Friday. I need to research more and study a lot things like that, science, health, English, like that, or whatever. Okay, so I really experienced how to answer that. So of course your answer will change. It's not the same the way how you answer on the practice because I did not memorize. You get the point? So I just happen to make note that if accommodation, you talk about the space, how convenient, how comfortable, what do you do inside, things like that. And then in the normal questioning, really, my answers really are so comprehensive on the spot. I wonder why I say like that. Okay, by the way, I have two types of accommodation if we're referring that from my country of origin. I cannot detail you about that, but I can definitely detail on my accommodation in at present here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, because it's a company provided accommodation. Well, it's definitely spacious. I can do anything. I can sing, I can dance, I can research, I can do video calls for my family, interactive with family because I'm very happy if I'm communicating with them. And to also the kitchen, the small kitchen is very near from a sala, and then I can really cook if I like. And then after that, I can rest, go to the bed because the sala is very spacious. And then sometimes also I can also open the glass window. Is very overlooking, and I can see really the beauty of our nature that the Lord God gave to us. In that way, it live life to the fullest, and it's so wonderful. I answer in that way. Though it's not the same exactly the way I delivered, but it's the same thing. I may change the words like that. You get the point? So things if I'm using here wonderful, maybe I'm using there. I use impeccable like that. Oh, it's so impeccable and stupendous. I am very very happy and satisfied with my accommodation. Things like that. You get the point? Ganon, di ba? I love it kasi. You get the point? So the important is you love what you are doing because you love that, then you can answer it well. Okay, but because if you don't love it, you'll say like that. You get the point. So many stoppage. Or if you don't have stoppage, it talks 3 seconds to think for an answer like that, and the examiner will know that your brain capture and your brain pick up is very not quick. You get the point? They will understand that, and it's also a minus. You get the point? That's why it's very difficult to face an international English examination. Okay, so you get the point because the pressures will be there, time frame. Okay, though the other examinations also are time frame because it's totally different when there's speaking, okay, and writing, blah blah blah. In the board examination or an examination in a company, only writing, right? Reading and writing, and then the one you write is not also composing an article, composing a letter, composing an essay. It's not the same. Okay, if you are only good in academics, you are good in abstract reasoning and in math, it's bingo. But here it's another thing. You need to conceptualize really the context, the content. So if you are not really good in English language or English as a subject, then mga muti yun ka guys. You get the point? That's why you need to study comprehensively. Adequate preparation is needed before taking international English examination. You get the point? Things like that. Okay, we go now to the part 2. Okay. So the part 2 will be just like a monologue. Charot. Okay, so the question will be, we have been talking about the things we own. I'd like to discuss with you one or two more general questions relating to this topic. First, let's consider values and what they can change. Okay, in Switzerland, what kind of possessions do you think give status to people? This kind of mentioning the place is just only a trap for you guys, ha? Because if you think the question is like that, you may opted to don't answer because you don't have an idea in Switzerland. You get the point? It's not literal as I told you. If the place mentioned there, Switzerland, you may take your own country as your answer. You get the point? So for example, my answer will be, well, our archipelago is composed of 7,107 islands. Then we are subdivided into three regions, the Luzon, Visayas, and the Mindanao. Then predominantly, the capital city of the Philippines is Luzon. They are more on the renewable sources of energy, like a solar power source of energy, and also the coal power source of energy in generating power electricity. So these things can change the life of the people because it's already advanced, and then we can see clearly the beauty of the world. We can see clearly the things that we'll be able to do because there's lighting through that renewable sources, right? And then it will be managed very well, especially if the business will be run properly and it could be managed very well. Now, let's go back to the Visayas region. In Visayas region also, we are really blessed with different tourist spots. We have the beach resorts, we have really the zoo, we have also the mountainous hills overlooking, and then these are really the center of the tourist spots. In that way also it can change our lifestyles because the government can support us freely in our education because it will increase the revenues, especially if the farmers will be going there and visit there. They will pay money in different accommodations and there will be a commissioning and taxes will be paid to our government. Then in that way, the people there will be also increase their quality of lifestyle with the subsidy of the government. And then in the third region, which is specifically the Mindanao, there are really abundance in agricultural products, and in that way it can change also the lives of the people in terms of their health because there's a lot of vegetation, healthy food coming from the plants usually, right? And not only that, we can have also exportation of our products, and again it can increase the revenues and economy of our country as a whole. So imagine how the answers be going. It looks like fast, but if the examiner is very clever and smart, she or he can really understand the points even though how fast I am talking because there are no criteria regarding slow and fast. Okay, but if there are criteria about that, maybe I will adjust a little bit the way I will talk. But the criteria is only say fluency, okay, coherence, cohesive, grammar accuracy, pronunciation, vocabulary. There's no such saying fast and slow criteria, right? So it's okay as long as you are having a connected speech. But okay, you can control also a little bit, but in my case, I will be opted to forget other ideas kasi that's why I talked that so fast. You get the point? But there will be no question about that because if the examiner will cannot understand, they will also say pardon. Things like that. You get the point? Okay, ganon siya. Okay, that will be the answer for the part 3. Okay, Moto ang question. We've been talking about things on I'd like to discuss because things we own is not also self-explanatory that our things, meaning things we own in our land, in our region, in our place. I'd like to discuss you two or more general questions relating to the topic. Let's consider values, what they can change, yung mga values also. Okay, get the point? Things like that. So positions meaning the job, the what they did in their country to improve the economy or for the quality of their life, to balance their quality of life like that. Okay? So in short, guys, there will be no wrong answers. There will be no wrong and right answers. It depends on how you reason out your answers because it's also impossible that you cannot answer the questions well because it's very obvious on the questions, right? Meaning to say, if you are answering not in the statement, that means it's your brain cells failure. It's not really the mode of the questioning that really fails. You can never say it's the accent that I cannot understand. Like for example, if the question is asking about the possessions and the values, and you are talking about another thing, like say you are talking of the study, and you're talking about the humor or the laughter of the social media, TikTok, like that, and it's very far here, right? So you will see also, I watch most of the times TikTok so that it can really change the lives of the people, but it looks like shallow. The reasons are very shallow. It's not wrong, it's still correct, but you will gain low scores because social media is not really that very relevant in talking about technical and academic learning. You get the point. That is for mainly for enjoyment, social interactions. But if you go to the cognitive mental ability, they will not rather choose the social media as your topic. You get the point? So you will see another way around. In TikTok, I watch English language examination, science, and then I can learn that to share other people to transform their lives. So it's okay because the way how you explain, it can connect. Even though you choose the not very good avenue or the perfect place, the avenue of your source of information, which is the TikTok. You got the point, ganon. So, depende kasi guys how you reason out. You get the point, ganon siya, no? Okay. Any questions so far? Nothing, right? Thank you so much for watching. You can comment down below in the comment section. Bye bye, God bless everybody. See you later. And remember that Jesus loves us. Bye bye, God bless.